Welcome back to the Next Level Show. We're excited to be back and live on our Mindset Monday episodes. This is the first one that'll be kind of a virtual thing as well. Hope everyone's been enjoying the content thus far. Just a quick couple of reminders. If you're new to the YouTube and you're watching through YouTube, go ahead and make sure you leave a thumbs up on the video. It does well for the algorithm, as well as subscribe if you want to continue to follow our content. As far as we drop about 3 episodes a week, same thing goes for our audio only podcast options as on the Apple app, Spotify, Google, you name it. Go ahead and check those out. Wear some headphones, sometimes we swear, so we don't want to get you fired at work. So just a little quick reminders as well. Mr. Mike Nillis, the handsome man with the beard, has timestamps, does the timestamps very well. And, just in case you want to skip around, you want to tune into specific segments of the show, eventually we'll kind of work a way to do clips for you guys. So you guys have easy, short, to the point topics, and you guys can share those as well. Anything else that comes to mind? Anything else, boys?
Oh, the Facebook group?
Yes, we do have a Facebook group on it's a private forum, the Next Level Show private forum. You can search that, go ahead and it's private, but you can just send us a request. We see you, we'll add you. There's no issues with that. It's just the people that listen to the show. We can drop more stuff, ask questions in there, as well as you have any questions, you can always drop them on the comment section on YouTube and on the review section of the podcast apps, or send us direct message at the Next Level Show Instagram page, where we'll check it out, or any of us directly. If you have something that resonates with, one of us resonates with you and you want to have a private conversation, you guys can do that as well. Not a problem.
You want to talk about Mike about beard stuff, just how can you get it to that level? Then go ahead. He's the one to go to, not either one of us. Wrong place to go to if you reach out to me. I will direct you to Mike. I got nothing.
All you got to do is wait. That's the secret.
Sounds like a long time.
I mean, depending on the person. This beard's about a year and a half old, maybe.
That's insane.
It's getting close.
So let me ask you this. Totally off topic, but when you're growing it, do you notice that it grows like at a steady rate? Does it speed up? Does it slow down? Does it go through like growths and spurts? Does it plateau? Do you need? Yeah,
it plateaued when Oliver was a newborn because I wasn't caring for it as much. I wasn't putting like the oils and stuff in there. So really what's happening with a beard is really the health of the skin that the hair's coming out of really determines how well the beard's going to do. The hair is just dead. I mean, it's hair. It's dead cells. But the skin underneath, if it's not cared for and given the right nutrients, because it doesn't see sunlight, it doesn't see the same amount of moisture, it doesn't get the same oils and stuff like that. If that's not doing well, then the hair's not going to do well. So that's kind of what happened when Oliver was born, where everything was just chaos, and I wasn't caring for it as much as I normally was or should have been, which is basically like a day-to-day thing, like a couple times a day, put in a little bit of oil or whatever. But so yeah, it kind of it'll reach a terminal length at some point. There's a limit to how much a beard can grow. That depends on person to person. I think I've talked about this before, but I think I'm reaching a practical limit because, like I said, it's getting to the point with Oliver grabbing it. It's getting to be a bit much, and it breaks my heart to say it, but it might be time to go soon.
Terrible. Well, hey, did you guys see that? Kind of transitioning again, making a hard left. There was a new trailer released for Suicide Squad. Did you guys see that? Are you guys interested in that? It's going to be totally different. Not the same movie. One, it was directed by a totally different person. Is James Gunn, the one who did Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. So that should give you some confidence into how the direction the movie is taken. It seems to be like a great. It seems to be entertaining. Like I was the same as you, totally out of it. That first one, it had a good first act, but then the second and third, it was just like, what the hell is going on? And the part that kind of bugged me the most was the main person they were going up against. Like, what do they have to do? It was some big, like a top level magician kind of person. And you got people with like a dude with a boomerang and someone shooting. Like, what are they going to do?
That was Cara Delevingne's character, right?
I forgot who.
She's like a witch.
Yeah, it was.
And yeah, fighting a dude with a boomerang. Yeah, I get you.
it was like, what the hell's I
That movie
can't.
was awful.
Yes,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, so no, this next one is going to be. It seems to be much better. Even like the cast of like the Suicide Squad itself, it's very diverse, and you can tell like a lot are not going to make it. Like they have even this one, King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone. So that's exactly. It does seem like its head. It has John Cena. He's as Peacemaker, and supposedly he's gonna have like his own spin-off show on HBO Max. But Idris Elba, he's there, and he's a Bloodsport, and he seems to be the person like in charge of the whole squad, or that's his team. Even though there's another dude named Rick Flag who was in the first one, who was allegedly the leader. But that's based on the new trailer. That's what it seems like. He's the one in charge.
Is Deathstroke a member of Suicide Squad?
That's what I thought his character was. I'm like, is that Deathstroke? No, he's Bloodsport.
I want a goddamn Deathstroke in the movies. Why is this not a thing? That would be such a good cinematic experience. Deathstroke versus fucking Batman, especially the Batman that we have nowadays, where he's all fucking kung fu ninja. That would be amazing. Yeah. Somebody make it happen with somebody with more money than me.
So just looking forward. I would look forward to it. And plus, it's going to come out on HBO Max. Like, it's not you got to pay for it, right? If you subscribe it or have access to it, you're not paying. You're paying it with your time.
$14.99 a month,
something like that.
It's just cool to see all these like shows coming out of these movies actually are being produced like these high quality stuff too, versus I know that the CW had a couple of the shows and like, you know, they do very well. I mean, they have an extended amount of seasons to build up the characters and all that, like they did for The Flash, for example. But you know, now with Disney, they're doing the same thing for Marvel. They're killing it right now with Loki. I've been watching that one. It's really, really good.
You up to date on that?
Yeah, so I actually have to watch the last half of the second episode, so before today.
Yeah, us too.
So then
Not about
we have.
It, no, you're out. You don't want.
Oh no, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you'd like it if you watched it. What else? They're doing all the stuff with Marvel. They're doing now with HBO Max. I think this is going to kind of be the DC route. You know, I'm down for that. HBO has a tremendous budget, anyways. Obviously, they crushed it with their shows. All the time that they come out with some high quality stuff, even if they're short. You know, it's a good ride. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've been catching up with.
Well, there is one show that I've been meaning to catch up on, and the last 2 nights I just haven't. Actually, it's a brand new show. It's called Physical. It's on Apple TV, and it stars, what's her name? Rose Byrne. Anyways,
the lady from Insidious.
Yes.
That's Rose Byrne. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So it takes place in San Diego in the 1980s, and she's like some type. I think she's like a distraught or maybe like a recently divorced like housewife, and she doesn't. You know, she goes into some type of depression, and what she finds, I guess, solace in is aerobics. So then she's an aerobic teacher. I don't know if she's an aerobic teacher or she takes an aerobic class and she's all about it and just all the craziness that come with it. It's supposed to be a comedy, and I've been wanting to check it out with Jennifer, but last night it just wasn't. I don't know, something funky was going on with the with the app or with the channel, and it didn't work. And we just said the hell with it, and we watched Norbit instead.
Nice switch.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else here. I do have a couple like sport updates. It's not the people that are obviously know that I watch UFC. Big fight coming up. Plan for it. It's gonna be weekend. I'm excited. The only reason I'm bringing this up because I talked with a couple friends that were planning on watching it. July 10th, the Conor McGregor versus Poirier number 3, the trilogy fight. I haven't seen a trilogy fight with any combat sports, so there'll be something new, I think, something different, something exciting for people that are into that, as well as you're not watching. If you're anyone that enjoys soccer, I know I'm the oddball here, but Euros are happening, Copa America is happening. In the sports world, there's a lot going on this summer. They're actually delayed because a lot of the stuff was supposed to happen last year. So actually the Euro this year happens every 4 years. They were supposed to happen in 2020. obviously the world ended, so they needed to survive. The players that made it are now playing this year. But the reason I bring it up too with the sports segment and transitioning here is because it's crazy to see in the time we live in, the amount of games that these athletes play, and this is in the game in the world of soccer or football for our Spanish listeners. There's a player that had a heart attack on the field, and
Yes.
it was in the Euro tournament, and it just because people are analyzing as to why what's happening. It's the volume of games that these people are putting their bodies through. A lot of these players run either a full match or 90-minute matches, and they have their club tournament, they have their national qualifiers that they have to travel to within their breaks, and most of them only get throughout the year a total amount of time, about a month off total, where their body gets to just completely rest. Most likely they have obviously training plus games plus training after games, before, all that stuff. So I mean, they're putting a heavy demand on your body, and it just goes to show, when people look and idolize athletes at times as far as like how to get in shape, how to look a certain way. But the truth is, a lot of these athletes are not healthy, in the sense that this is not optimal health. We're not talking about the form of aesthetics. We're talking about just performance. People think like, I don't want to be like a bodybuilder or anything like that. I don't want to starve myself. I want to be like this tennis player, this track runner, this soccer player, whatever. And a lot of times when you get to a high level like that, you're pushing your body, you're redlining it a lot. Obviously there's a lot of science that they go into to prepare these athletes. Obviously we have better technology, better training programs, physical therapists that are in the field, personal trainers that work with these athletes, nutritionists that really like cater to the team's like nutrition. And these players overall look a lot better. They're able to withstand and have a lot of rehab stuff to help, post games and stuff. But even with that being said, the human body, it goes to show that the human body is not designed to be pushed to those limits constantly. It's almost like taking a car and redlining it in the RPM and keeping it there for a longer period of time. Eventually, you can probably come out of it a little bit, but then you keep going, and that's how you drive constantly. You never shift to a lower gear. Your car, eventually your motor's about to rupture and overheat and just fucking go. So these people, I feel for them, because it's like, man, you're really pushing it here. Is this going to be where we're going to keep it the same, or we're just going to keep advancing the technology to get you better, to bypass these things? But to what extent? How far are these people going to be able to go? And it's always crazy to see. I mean, they're playing as many games like a year, like almost as they do with the NBA. Like, I mean, they're getting to a point where in the NBA plays a lot too. I mean, those basketball players are playing multiple games a week. So I mean, it's a fast pace
total.
Yeah,
sometimes back to back to back.
It's a fast-paced game, and like now we have the summer tournament. So a lot of these players that played a full club league, multiple championships, then go and travel to their home club. I mean, their country, their national team, and they're playing in a tournament that's very aggressive for a month straight. It's nonstop pushing it. So it's crazy, man. We got to take care of these athletes, and we got to either scale it back a little bit. Unfortunately, that's there's a business to run. There's money being made, so I don't see it happening, but. And the fans want to see it. The fans want to see their favorite players go. I know, for example, you have the two top ones that I know people know of, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. They play 90 minutes and extra. Those are the type of players that people leave on the field the whole time. And these players go for years. They've been playing for 20 plus years, still going at it. And it's crazy because you can tell technology is catching up. These players are like already in their mid 30s, higher 30s. And they're still going, and typically soccer players have a very short shelf life when it comes to sports. Like, they usually end their careers very quickly due to injuries or whatever. But these players have been going strong and no severe injuries. And I think it's due to a lot of the money that they have now, and the teams have the technology that they have for rehab, which is obviously, we know it's vital.
Yeah, it's so you can tell by the advancements in technology and in just sports and just even the athletes prioritizing recovery in general is why they're able to maintain this high level of performance past what should be physically possible. Like, look at Tom Brady, just won won the Super Bowl last year, and he's 43 years old. Actually, was it 43 or 49? Shit. I was right the first time. He is 43, exactly.
I actually did. Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, because you get the football. I mean, you get the soccer, but I get the football.
I mean, I know a little bit about football.
Types of. But he like look at him, and also another one that's going well past, still performing at a high level is LeBron James. He is 36 years old. And he's one of the ones that was really, both of them really were focusing on recovery and investing in themselves as during the off season, as to what they can do to stay at a top level. So now you see either players just playing a lot longer, or even maybe everything kind of like evening out a bit. There might not be so many like outliers as there was in the past. Like think of going back to basketball, like Will Chamberlain. I mean, he was big as all hell, and he was just towering over everyone. But now that's generally not the case. You don't see any one person just towering or imposing over everyone else. I guess certain outliers, of course. The last one would be perhaps Shaq within basketball.
Yao Ming.
But
yeah, Yao Ming comes to mind.
But then also look at he came to mind, but he was only really there for what, 5 years tops before his body started breaking down.
Yeah, and he was pretty scrawny for how big he was. So if he was up against like a Shaq would just shove his hips into him and just push him out of the way because he's a giant beanpole. I get it though. Yeah, that was my thought too. Because it's like as you get further and further into it, like going to the basketball example, even if you do have an outlier, we're already at such extremes. An outlier is almost at a disadvantage. I mean, somebody that's 7'5" probably not going to be able to move as well as somebody that's 6'11" or 7 foot. Both are giants compared to the rest of us, but the 7'5" dude, yeah, he's tall, but that's a lot to move, But yeah, that's the extent of my sports knowledge. So we're done here.
When Mike says we're done, we are done. Now, boys, I'm actually curious on which way to go, because talking about this kind of puts me in the mindset of talking more about, that mentality of having that you need to train like an athlete, that false narrative that people sell, that because the programs look super cool. We had another topic that we were ranting about. I feel like we're just more like, I was more heated before getting on air. I needed to vent and get it out a little bit. I don't even want to touch that subject. I don't even want to give it any attention, to be honest. And like, sorry, listeners, maybe another day, but we'll keep it on the sense of, this is very common. The mentality of people buying into programs that are super intense, or that you train like so-and-so celebrity athlete that you admire, and thinking, because there's a bit of hope and there's a bit of naiveness that comes to it. I know I've been guilty of this. You see your favorite movie star training like Superman, and you're going to look like Henry Cavill. Like you look nothing like Henry Cavill, nice. Right? Handsome man. But no, it's this false narrative that you have to go into that. You need to, when you're looking for programs or you're thinking about starting your fitness journey, you can't go with the mentality that you're going to just do whatever you see top 5% or top 1% of the population doing and thinking that's going to work for you. In most cases, we are more than most of the population is average. There's all about that perception thing, right? Even with just using the basketball analogy, you might see basketball and watch basketball a lot, or hanging around like top level players, and you think that everyone is that tall. But when you step out and go into the real world, you notice that those are like the outliers. Most people aren't that tall.
Someone who's even like 6'5" would stand out in any place, anywhere you go, and they would be considered like a guard, like not someone that's overly tall in the realm of basketball.
Yep.
Or even absolutely. Like that's really struck out to me when I watched when I went to go see a football game. I went to the Tampa Bay Bucks play the Cowboys, and I was basically like a row behind field level, and these players were just enormous. They just looked massive, and there was one player from the Cowboys, Cole Beasley at the time when he was still playing with them, and he was like roughly around the same height as me, and I was just basically using him as like like for scale. And he was just, coming up to people's like, their sternum, or just, maybe only he was the same size as their like one of their legs. or something, because it was just insane as to how much these players or these individuals that are play at these top levels, how much they stick out.
Absolutely. I mean, I always feel like I have to kind of bring some clients back. Sometimes they'll bring up an idea like, oh, I saw this program, or I saw this article on this person. Like, why do they do this, this, and that? Why are we doing this instead? And I have to always break it down that it's, it's not that necessarily doesn't guarantee you X results. We know that the primary things that we need to focus on is obviously, your training has to be appropriate. Your recovery has to match that training, and your nutrition has to comply. Make sure if you're trying to lose weight, be in a calorie deficit, maintenance, or calorie surplus. I mean, you have to kind of check all those boxes of what you're trying to accomplish, because a lot of people think that they would withstand that workout, which most of us, even us, would be destroyed by it.
Hell yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into it. Most people don't even move appropriately. So I think it's having a realistic expectation going into this, that it's not about dumbing it down where you're silly, or you're just you're an idiot, or you're incapable of it. It's understanding where you're at and building on that. And eventually you might be able to train if you're very passionate about it. Maybe you get to a point where you're training at very high volume and you train very frequently, and you get to do kind of similar stuff. But if you're the everyday person, in most cases, you're not that passionate. Realistically, you might got a little bit of a hype. You were watching the season, you watched the championship, you got a little motivated. You saw a movie, and you're like, hell yeah, I want to look like that. The Rock, yeah. But realistically, that will kind of fade. It's when you start having to put the work in. Most of us here just want to look and feel good, and comfortable with ourselves, and navigate life and enjoy other things that are outside of the gym. So kind of shifting that mindset of just, I need to do all this in order to get this. Trust me, you probably don't need to even do, a third of that shit.
And that's why I kind of hate whenever I see articles or saying, oh, so-and-so's, workout, or what, this person's
20 pounds regimen. In 2 days.
Exactly. And telling you how much you can really, lose. I mean, yeah, I bet you would, because of all the, like you mentioned, the activity that you need to just put in there that you're just not doing. And it makes no sense. And the way to put it is, imagine going back to, the basketball kind of sense. Okay. What LeBron James does to practice before every game, or even after every game, or in between games, what he does to kind of get better. Why are you talking about that when you can't even dribble the ball without it, falling off of your feet and just going all over the place? That just makes no damn sense, right? Mm-hmm. So is in the same realm, this is what those individuals are doing. Possibly, there might be some situations where that's not even close to what they're doing, right? And you can kind of see where that would go, where it's more like a clickbait kind of thing and marketing kind of thing of what flashy, movements that they can put together in order to kind of get your attention. So one, that might not be it. And two, even if it is it, they didn't just out of nowhere, from day one, just start doing those movements, or start doing or moving like that, or picking those type of weights up. They gradually built up to that. So that's just, I kind of just roll my eyes whenever I see that, because I know exactly what it's trying to do. Now on the, to see the positive end, okay, fine. What if it takes someone who is not into fitness, who is not into health, who is inactive, who's just on the couch, and gets them to just get up and move, and start doing something? Okay, great. So I like it for that, or for those individuals, but other ones is just like for what I just said, it just makes no damn sense.
My thing with these types of workouts are always, I always feel this way about it. Whenever I see somebody at the gym doing something like this, something super intense with a bunch of, it's just so complex and intricate, and it looks amazing while they're doing it. It's like, holy crap, you must be doing a workout done by like some famous person, or like an athlete or something like this. This must be super impressive. They always look average. Nope, I've never really seen somebody doing some crazy shit in the gym with just this super impressive physique, unless they're squatting like 405 for like 12, or benching 315 for 12. Those being the exceptions, but those are super simple core movements that we should be practicing and being good at anyways. And they're certainly not supersetting it with burpees and overhead press and then pull-ups and then doing jumping jacks until they barf. That's always my thing. Like, I don't see the the benefit to kicking your ass like that unless that's what you enjoy. I mean, if that's literally the way you like doing it, I think I do know one person that's at our gym right now. She does this. She just circuit trains all the time, and it just seems kind of random. She's doing shit over here, and then she's doing shit over there, and she's in really good shape, and she seems to enjoy it. But like it's just a few and far between person that actually looks good from doing this kind of shit. And you can tell it's like it's Instagram workouts, it's YouTube workouts. It's not from a trainer that knows what they're doing.
No,
at least not a trainer that I would care to hire.
No, absolutely. And I think that it's a good point to make. Just talking from the beginning, you could live like that for a bit, through a couple months, maybe even a year. But you have to be so dialed in. That's the main thing. Because if you want to see change, you have to have the other things dialed in. But the other thing is, we just talked about redlining your body, pushing your body constantly. You're just asking for potential injuries, aches and pains, even possible regressions in progress that you're making. You're like going to start losing your gains or losing strength or losing performance due to these other factors. You don't need to live like that. I get the mental component because that's the main thing people also gravitate towards it. Yep. If you're someone that finds yourself kind of just doing workouts because you feel like you need to beat your ass because of whatever, I would say, sure, throw it in there occasionally, but don't live like that constantly, because if you want to keep doing this until the day you die, you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're giving the body a reason to want to progress. Like I said, most people, I said in the other episode, most people want to do this because they want to look better naked. Let's be straight up here. Is what you're doing really helping you aid your goals? And most people want to look better. Now, if you're someone that is a high performer or competing or playing sports, or you're doing something that your body needs to do this, sure, that's different. But most of you, if you're thinking about longevity, don't think that I just got to work harder. I just got to work harder. Most people that do this too are the ones that Mike, you might see people that look the same as, or they don't change. They're trying to outwork their diet. They're trying to outwork other bad decisions that they're making. They're trying to outwork the lack of managing stress and getting good sleep. Eventually, you're going to lose that battle. I'm sorry. I think someone has to tell you this. So if you haven't heard this and someone's just been sugarcoating and patting on your back and like, fuck yeah, man, like you're doing so good, I'm sorry to tell you, you're an idiot. Stop. Like you're literally spinning your wheels here. So hope this is a little bit of a wake-up call for our listeners, or someone that's tuning in for the first time and thinks I'm an asshole, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep it real with you. We've worked with hundreds of people throughout the years combined, and you know, it's a real thing. We see this often. We see the people that are gung-ho, they crash and burn eventually, and shit. Even us, we've talked about it in our past. We'll even make an episode about this again, but we've tried the aggressive shit. We've tried the high volume shit. I trained, I got myself at a very high peak level and when I was super young to play college ball. And I was in great shape for the sport, but it was not sustainable. And if I would have kept trying to train like that with my personal fitness, I would be like in crutches right now. I'd be banded up like a mummy, like you see most CrossFit people. Not a jab at CrossFit, but you know, it's just not ideal. And we can be different here and say that maybe we just care about effectiveness, but I think that a lot of people deep down want this too. They want to be effective with their time. They just need to be shown a different way. If they've only thought this mentality was this way of training was the only way to achieve results.
Yeah, going back to the whole efficiency thing, like, you know, if you're able or you can afford to spend 2-3 hours in the gym, okay, fine. If we had the option to do so without any kind of repercussion, can we do that? And can we take advantage of that and make some good progress? Yes, we would. We can, but that's just not where we're at right now in any of our lives, right? So that's goes back to the whole efficiency thing. You don't want to spend, you know, tons of hours, tons of time there. And actually what I find interesting is in comparing like an everyday person to an athlete, like their headspace is totally different. Like I've trained a couple of athletes before here, and I always keep telling them, I was like, athletes. Yeah. Watch out for them. These athletes,
The big booty clients. I get
Exactly.
it. I get what you're going with this.
That was my trying to say it that way. But I actually tell them, turn your athlete brain switch off. Because what do you do as an athlete? You push through the pain, you push, and you just, make it happen all the way towards the end. I'm like, no, I don't want to get you there. I want to just kind of like scale back some, comparable to like an everyday person, that they are usually on the other side of it, where they kind of like don't give you a max effort. They would give you like what 60, 70% tops, comparable to an athlete that is like going up to 100. So I kind of like find that interesting, and I try to at best, if I have two different individuals, one that is an athlete, I tell them, okay, let's just scale it down just a bit, comparable to an everyday person. Hey, let's just continuously keep on pushing ourselves and challenging ourselves as much as we can.
Mike, any closing thoughts?
No. I took Chester to the vet today, and he is marginally overweight.
Oh, so are you putting him like on a?
Yes.
On a puppy deficit?
Yeah, he's about to go on a little puppy deficit.
I did that for my dog too. I had to.
I was going to say the doctor did said this is pretty common. As growing up, they do need a little bit, and then as they level out, it's time to like taper it down a little bit. But she also gave us good recommendations for dog food, because apparently with the stuff we were giving him, apparently dogs actually need grain in their diets. I didn't know that. It can lead to cardiomyopathy.
They need grains, you said?
They need grains. Primarily, I believe what she was telling me, she gave me a paperwork. I asked for paperwork on it because I wanted to read about it. I believe it's for the amino acid taurine. They don't get, even if it's supplemented, it doesn't absorb the same way as it would as if it came from a natural grain source. So I thought that was interesting, but that's my closing thought. That has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
Dude, send me that over. I actually would love to. Just send me a picture or something.
Okay, sure. It's.
I mean, I do the vet recommended food. I know there's like people that like do this whole like ordeal, this whole preparation. That's it's very costly. I'll be honest. It's a lot.
Yeah, rice and boiled chicken and all that. Yeah.
And I've done that for her upset stomach when they get sick. Rice, boiled chicken, stuff like that. But this whole like ordeal where they eat better than a human. Some people actually feed their dogs better than they feed their humans. Sometimes like the advice that I give someone is like, how would you treat your dog? Like, oh, would you give them this? Like, no, I buy them the best. Then do that for yourself. Stop eating fucking McDonald's every day. But anyways, that's a whole nother rant. Anything closing thoughts, boys, on your segment? Go ahead.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before the segment, I wanted to ask you guys a question. Just, I guess maybe perhaps a new segment or something. Just to kind of like a question of the day. Totally random and non-important to anything. But would you guys know what is, I guess now, during the summer's coming along, people are going to be traveling, maybe some road trips. What is the number one road trip or traveled area in the U.S.?
Like road tripped or traveled as in like, are we talking about like specifically a road or just like an area?
Either one of the two. Either one would be acceptable. So let me just give you the answer since too short.
I mean, listen, I'm a fucking Florida boy. I've lived here my whole entire life. So I know I'm fucking OG, bro. I know US 41. I know I-75. I know I-4.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, none of that.
95?
No. Close. That's what I thought then. It's actually Blue Ridge Parkway. And that's located in North Carolina and Virginia. That's where it runs through. The nearest cities are Asheville, North Carolina, and Roanoke, Virginia. I don't know. Something like that. I can't speak. So, random fact of the day.
I appreciate it. I actually like it.
Yeah.
So do you have you want to go first, Mike? Or?
I came prepared. I have a inappropriate dad joke and a riddle. So I can dole those out now, or you can go first. It's up to you.
How about I go in case you want to just take mine? Because that's my deal. You have your deal. I have my deal. So this question really goes out to the listeners, to the viewers, to anyone that is out there. Would anyone be interested in being my companion? Asking for a friend? I'm asking for a friend. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was like a play on like.
We need to get We need to get the little drum snare
Yeah.
symbol.
I thought it was a play on like Mike Companion, like Mike Hunt, or like that whole joke that I heard a million fucking times. Mike Companion. I don't know.
No.
Asking for a friend. Okay, so I don't know if you guys knew this, but I recently tried to open up a bar for men with erectile dysfunction, but it was a total flop. Nobody came. So I repurposed the space and turned it into a club for men with premature ejaculation, but it didn't last long.
I love it. Great way to start the week. I appreciate it.
Okay, real quick.
Go for it.
Now for the riddle. What time is it when an elephant sits on a fence?
I got it.
I don't have it.
Time to get a new fence.
Bro, you're good at these. Oh, man. Okay.
I'm in the zone, apparently.
I Googled difficult riddles. I don't know. I'm going to stump you one day.
Googles have nothing on me.
I've only had one win. Gabe already has 2 or 3 wins.
It's 2 in a row if we're counting.
Yep. Doing great. Well, listeners, if you guys like this show, you guys like all the segments, let us know in the comments by leaving us a thumbs up on the YouTube, leave us a comment and or review on either platform. We always appreciate the feedback on things that you would like to see coming up, anything you would like us to answer. Eventually, we're going to keep evolving the show just to keep bringing you better and better stuff. With that being said, listeners, follow us on Instagram at The Next Level Show. My personal page is at John Alva Fitness. Gabe is at Prime and Glory, and Mike is at Mike Nillis PT.